It is a very warm welcome to you indeed to Artistic Gymnastics World Cup action in Mersin in Turkey. And we are here at the Mersin Gymnastics Hall for a great session of competition. And first up, it's going to be the men's floor exercise. We've got 10 apparatus finals all coming up over the next several hours of action. Great pleasure to have your company. Let us get underway with this men's floor exercise, and we begin with Majdi Al-Hamoud of Jordan, the 23-year-old from Amman. A little bit of adjustment on the first tumbling pass, didn't quite get the rotations right. 23-year-old was the 6th strongest in qualification with a 13.5. Landing out of bounds will carry heftier penalties than a land in and a step out of bounds. I think he did land out of bounds there. Just a little bit compressed in that tumbling pass, but recovered it well. Some good strength shown. That's better, much more secure and solid. That's lovely control in the handstand. And definitely did build as a routine as he went on. Majdi Al-Hamoud scored 13.5 in qualification. There's not a great deal of 5, the strongest that we saw in qualification from Arel Benovic of Croatia. So positive start from Al-Hamoud. Emre Gundogdu is waiting to go. 22-year-old university student from Izmir. And we're just waiting that score to come in for Majdi Al-Hamoud. And those of you who've been watching a lot of the Gymnastics World Cups, you'll know very well indeed that most of the time the apparatus finals take place over a couple of days. Well, not the case here in Mersin. It's all done over one day, so it's a very busy day for the competitors, some of whom are involved in quite a lot of competition. And we now look at Emre Gundogdu of Turkey, the 5th strongest in qualification. Opting for the diagonal arms in the handstand just to bring a touch of greater complexity. Just a very small pause as he goes into the regular handstand with a tiny overarch, just little execution deductions for Gundogdu. He's the reigning Turkish floor champion. Finishes very nicely indeed in the layout position. All-round bronze medalist at the Turkish Championships in March, and he really did particularly excel on this piece of apparatus. Took his first World Cup medal earlier this year, a rings bronze in Osijek. He's got very fine memories of life in Mersin. It's where he made his World Cup debut 3 years ago. No news on any of the scores yet, apologies for that, but we'll bring you those just as soon as it's possible to do so. Waiting to go is the top qualifier, Aurel Benovic of Croatia. Youngest competitor in the final, 19-year-old. He's from Osijek, which is well known for hosting a World Challenge Cup event. So to Aurel Benovic of Croatia taking to the floor. 13.95 in qualification for him, the strongest that we saw. But only half a tenth above Slovenia's Rok Klavora. But he really is a floor specialist, Benovic. Took his first World Cup medal in Koper in Slovenia earlier this year. That was a bronze on the floor exercise. Got some nice height in that tumbling pass and was very steady in the landing. Steadies himself for the final tumbling pass. Twists round nicely, gets the rotation pretty well judged. Benovic, he's right to be absolutely delighted about that. As I say, no scores yet, I'm afraid, so your guess is as good as mine. But if his reaction's anything to go by, that's a very good display indeed from Benovic, and it's that we've seen so far. Key thing is his difficulty in qualification was higher than the other competitors we've seen so far. 13.3 for Gundogdu, just waiting on the score for Alhamud, which has not yet come through. So 13.3 for Gundogdu. He's down a little bit from qualification, just by 0.4 or thereabouts. But Benovic, highest difficulty by some way, 6.1. The next highest that we saw was 5.7 from Murad Agazayev, the seventh strongest qualifier. He's last to go, but he did have some landing troubles in qualification, Agazayev, so he could well fly up the leaderboard just a touch. Luka Tebovšek of Slovenia is next to go. Tebovšek was the fourth strongest in qualification. 13.85 for him. Those of you who watched the European Championships in Szczecin might well remember Tebovšek. Just recently made his first senior European Championship debut. And he's competed in 9 World Cup events. Yet to take a medal. His best finish was 4th in Osijek earlier this year. And he is very much a floor specialist, and that's the beauty of these World Challenge Cup events. We see the specialists in action. It's very much all about the apparatus experts rather than the all-round gymnasts. And so to Luka Trbovšek of Slovenia, 4th strongest in qualification. Oh, he really did have to hop and skip to keep that under control. Will end up being just a small penalty. That's a lovely move into the handstand position. Very steady. It's got a lightness of touch to Trbovšek. And he's very steady in exiting all of these tumbling passes in the latter stage of the routine. It's got much better. Say that, just a small step to the side on the final tumbling pass, but promising work from Luka Trbovšek of Slovenia. And if you're just joining the competition, we've had 4 competitors so far in the men's floor final. Just the one score that we know for certain at the moment, that's Emre Gündoğdu. It's a 14.5 for Benovic, and that is going to be a very difficult score to combat indeed. He's up by 0.6 or thereabouts from qualification. Well, Benovic very much in the lead. Now to Mustafa Arka of Turkey. So Turkey's Mustafa Arka is next to go. 8th strongest in qualifying, 13.05 for him. Gymnast from Karatay in the centre of Turkey. It's about 300 kilometres to the northwest of Mersin. He was 5th in the all-around competition at the recent Turkish Championships. Is progressing through this routine really nicely, Mustafa Arka. Got a lovely diagonal arm in the handstand, little adjustment, and that will carry a small deduction, but his line in the handstand's really nice with an elegant toe point. Certainly no doubt about his control, he can hold that for an age. Well, that brings delight to the fans in the Mersin Gymnastics Hall. Get over 1,000 spectators in here. Many of them came to watch the gymnastics at the Mediterranean Games in 2013 when it was first used. It was built for that event. Arka, not one of the gymnasts involved in that, as just a 21-year-old, but some of his teammates were. We'll be seeing them later on in the competition. But this is really good work from Mustafa Arka. Jordan Alexandrov of Bulgaria will be next to go. Tabovshek scores a 13.3, same score as Gundogdu. We'll come back to the separation criteria in due course if necessary, but we now look at Jordan Alexandrov of Bulgaria. (23-year-old). What a fascinating sporting background he comes from, the third strongest in qualification. Father Dimitar, member of the national gymnastics team and also a coach, and that's a lovely first tumbling pass, powerful attack. His mother Diana, a gymnast turned rock climber, also a coach. Goes into the manner position, really holds that nicely. Again, that little adjustment moving through into handstand, very understandable. The gymnast trying to control that strength and balance and just get the pivot point exactly right. Oh, he really had to steady that and managed to do so, Jordan Alexandrov. But a controlled display for the large part from the Bulgarian gymnast. .05 for Arka, puts him into second position behind Aurel Benovic. Second 14 plus score that we've had so far. Now to the penultimate competitor, Rok Klavora of Slovenia. Well, he's an absolute veteran. Just turned 31, the gymnast from Ljubljana. And he won his first World Cup medal on floor back in 2009 in Montreal, believe it or not. No doubts about his control at all moving through into the handstand. Score of 13.9 in qualification for Klavora. Last time he won a World Cup gold was a couple of years ago in Cottbus. How close is he going to get to those 14 plus scores that we've had so far from Benovic and Arka? Has he got the difficulty in this routine to do that? That's the question. Still to come, we've got a gymnast who does have the difficulty, and that's Murad Agazaev. It's just about whether his execution will be quite crisp enough. We shall discover that in due course. And there is the 20-year-old who lives in Baku, where he's undertaking undergraduate studies in sports coaching, as so many of the gymnasts do. Alexandrov gets a score of 13.6 to really put him in medal contention. But still it is Benovic who leads the way. Now to Murad Agazayev, the final competitor to go. His difficulty score in qualification was 5.7, his execution 7.8 for a 13.5 overall. So there is real opportunity for Agazayev to leap up in execution. Just managed to stay in bounds, his rotation not quite right. Some of you may remember him taking the gold medal on the floor exercise at the Islamic Solidarity Games in Baku a couple of years ago. It was in May 2017. He dedicated that to his mum, said he's always going to be so grateful to everything that she's done for him, and she's been his greatest advocate and inspiration. Just about manages to control the Russian vendor swing. Just a small hop forward, but nothing too egregious. Well, he's yet to take World Cup honours, is Murad Agazayev. What about hitting this dismount and putting himself really in contention? A little bit of a step back. Maybe quite a big step back on that dismount. This is his 12th World Cup event. Really does get out there and compete an awful lot. Just bringing you confirmation now of a 13.4 score for Majdi Al-Hamoud, the Jordanian. That was the one score that we missed, the first competitor. So what it means as we look back at that final tumbling pass from Agazayev is that 13.6 is the bronze medal score, 14.05 is the silver, 14.5 is the gold. That's Alexandrov, Arka and Benovic in ascending order. So once that score is in for Agazayev, and indeed for Rock Klavora, we've got to see what the news is for him as well. And here is the news. So things have changed. Klavora goes into the bronze medal position with a 13.8. Just a tenth down in terms of execution from his qualification mark. And that means now that Agazayev is chasing a 13.8 score to get onto the podium for the first time in a World Cup event. Well, great pleasure to have your company for this World Challenge Cup action from the Mersin Gymnastics Hall. Ollie Hogben here, bringing you the competition in a very busy time for gymnastics. We're at the business end of the season, as I'm sure many of you know, with the World Championships coming along in October in Stuttgart. And Agazayev is just going to miss out, unfortunately for him, though we will see him in action later on in the competition. More to come from Murad Agazayev. And that is confirmation of the victory for Aurel Benovic in this men's floor exercise. The Croatian with his 14.5 score, taking his first ever World Cup gold.